Hi everyone, my name is Mate Echeverria. I'm in the fifth level of Pedagogy of the Languages, and today we're going to see a lesson about phonology. So, I'm going to show you my screen, and what we're going to see today is about syllables. So, what is special with syllables? So, what we're going to see today is about the elements of the syllables and how can they change the pronouns of a syllable. Okay, so we have to understand that to learn this, we have to be very good at the moment of pronouncing, because if we don't know about the sounds that the words make, it's going to be kind of hard. Also, I'm not too good about the terms about the phonology and the phonetics, like alveolar, dental, interdental. So if I make a mistake about these sounds, apologies, please. I'm still working on it. So yeah, syllables. Let's start with the elements of the syllable. So first, what are the elements of the syllable? Well, in the syllable, as you can see in this mind map, we have at least 4 things in a syllable. We have the onset, the peak or nucleus, the coda, and the rhythm or rhyme. So in a syllable, we have to understand that the peak or nucleus is the most important part of the syllable. There cannot be a syllable without a nucleus. Okay? So, how to identify a nucleus? Well, if you notice, the nucleus is always a vowel. Well, actually, it is a sound like a vowel. Like this is example: A, I, E, O, U, any vowel. Okay? This is like the main part of the syllable. So every time you hear this vowel sound, it is a syllable. Okay? There cannot be a syllable without this nucleus. Then we have the onset and the coda. Let's start with the onset right here. The onset is just the sound or the consonant that is before of the nucleus or the peak. So in this example, we have the word cat, and we can see that the onset is the letter K. So with the K sound, with the K sound and the A nucleus, the sound changes. It is more like K, K. And then we have the another part of the syllable, the coda. So what is special, what is coda, is that opposite of the onset, this is the consonant that is after the nucleus. In this case, in cat, we have the t, the t. And we can see that all together it sounds like this one word syllable, cat, cat. And finally, what is the rhyme or the rhythm? The rhyme is the pronunciation that's, that these 3 parts of the syllable makes. The onset with the nucleus and the coda makes one sound, cat. Another example is, for example, skin. We can see that the onset is conferred that more than one consonant, the S and the K. We have a nucleus, there's the letter E. And finally, we have a coda, that is the N. So all together, we can see that the sound is skin. But why the vowel, if it's A, right? Why is pronounced like E in skin, and it is not pronounced skin, with the I pronunciation? Well, that's because the coda is ended the syllable as an closed form. As you can see here, the N closes the sound of the syllable and make it shorter and make it the A into an E. Skin, skin. We're going to see more of these examples with another words. We have, for example, sun, car, easy. Let's start with the most easy one, sun. We have the onset, the S. As we can see, we have also a peak, that is the U. And we have also a coda, the N. So all together, it sounds like sun. And this N gives it a close sound. That is why it sounds like sun. We have another example here in car. In this example, for example, we have that the onset is the C. We have the peak. And obviously, because you have a coda, it's also another close sound, like car, right? Okay, now we can understand it. These are the parts of the syllable, and we can identify it, right? But it's not that easy, because we have some example like this one, easy, easy. Here, this word easy, we can divide it in two syllables. One is going to be E, and the other one is going to be C. So where does it should be separated? Should be here or here? Easy. If we separate it like between the E and the A here, it is not sound good, a good idea. Why? Because you have the A here, and also you have the Y there, that it makes a vowel sound. And it's going to be a thing like ACI, you know? So that makes no sense. A syllable cannot have two peaks, you know? That's why we have to separate it here. And these two vowels combined make the first syllable that it only has a nucleus, a peak, that is E. Okay, as we know, when we have a syllable with two vowels, the first vowel appropriates the sound, and the second one remains silent. That is why this syllable sounds like E. As you can see, there is no onset and there is no coda. Why? Because in a syllable, the main part or the principal part is the nucleus, the peak. However, in a syllable, the onset and the coda can be like optional, you know? There are some syllables that don't need them to make a syllable, like this example, E. Let's continue with the second syllable here about C. Again, it happens that the coda is not presented because it's not necessary, so there is not coda. As we say, there is obviously a nucleus, and the Y consonant actually makes a vowel sound. That is why it's taken by a nucleus, by a peak. And the final one is the onset. And there is an onset, the S consonant. Okay? And because there is no coda, there is no letter that makes this a closed sound. That is why in the word easy, the E is large, you know, it's long pronounced, like easy. That's why. But let's make an example. What if we make this, the word easy, to easier, with easier? As you can see, the R consonant make it a close sound, easier, easier. The word, even though it write is longer, it's pronounced shorter, you know, easier. That's why, because now we have a coda, the R. and that makes it a closed sound. Okay, so we all know the elements of the syllables, right? And now we can identify them. But this thing about separating the syllables is kind of tricky, you know? So why don't we just review that a little more with the separating syllables part. So actually these screenshots are not mine. I've taken this from a YouTube video that I'm going to leave you the link. I recommend you to see this video because obviously explained it a lot better than me. But I'm going to use it because it's very, very helpful. I'm trying to say it in my own words. Okay, so separating the syllables. Now that we have the elements of the syllable, we can identify them or divide them by these structures. The B stands for vowel and the C stands for consonant. So we can have the formula of vowel, consonant, vowel. Vowel, consonant, consonant, vowel with a division between the consonants. We also can have the vowel, consonant, vowel between the first vowel and consonant. We also have the same structure, vowel, consonant, vowel, but now the division is behind the consonant. And then we have the vowel, vowel. So there are good examples here about this one. And for example, we have the word napkin. As you can see, this is like the first form, the vowel, consonant, vowel. And it's obvious because when you say napkin, you recognize the separation. Nap, can. It makes sense, right? Nap, can. As you can see, the consonant makes this very, very short pause that shows the division of the syllables. In these cases are easy because when you have the two consonants together and with different peaks, different nucleus, you can separate them. That is easy, right? But what about the vowel, consonant, vowel form? And we have it here. This can be a little tricky, as you can see, because in the word thermometer, we don't know if we should separate the mom syllable or can be only the mo or another forms, you know, because you have this vowel, consonant, vowel, consonant, vowel. That is kind of tricky. So I'm going to show you as the girl in the video show us. First, we have this first syllable, third, and that is easy because we have this peak here, that is the we have the onset, that is th, and finally a close sound here with the r, third. Okay, we have our first syllable. Then we have this one. We don't know if we can separate the mo or should it be the mom, because we have the word, the one word syllable, mom, right? So what should we do? Well, we should try and see who fits better. So if you try to separate the mo, right, you have a big red there, and you also have an onset, so mo. And the second one, if you separate me, it's also going to be okay. Thermometer. But you don't say thermometer, right? You say thermometer, right? So what is going on here? I'm just going to show you this. I'm going to show you a good option for not knowing what to do in these cases. And as far as we know, internet has all kind of information, right? So if you search in Google, how many syllables has this word, you're going to find with pages like this, which makes it a lot easier. I recommend you to use it while you're practicing you know. And oh, why is mom? Let's get back to our presentation here. And we're going to see that here, as we say, we do not say or pronounce this word like thermometer, right? We say thermometer. And that is why the first syllable of third, the second one is going to be mom with the picking O, the onset with and also a coda with third mom, and we have this separation. The vowel, consonant, vowel between the consonant and after the vowel. Third mom, E, we have a one syllable with just the pick, no onset, no coda. Third mom, E, and the final syllable, third, with a pick, an onset, and a coda. Thermometer, thermometer. And that sounds a lot better. So some of these words can be a little tricky, especially hard ones like this one. But the thing that you should do is that at the moment you separate the syllables and you do separate them, try to pronounce it. Thermometer. Does it sound right? Yes, it does. But what if I did the separation here? Thermometer. No, that is not right, you know? Thermometer. That sounds better, you know? So try to do this. And if you're lost, because it can happen that there are some words like this one, search on Google. Search on Google so you know the answer and you can practice on it, right? And finally, and I think this is the hardest one, but the one that you can learn to separate, the vowel and vowel. Okay, for example, in word violin, it may sound like it's only two words, violin, but actually we do not produce it like this. We pronounce it like by o lin. As you can see, even though the vowels are together, here the rule about the first one and the second one staying silent does not apply it. Why? Because you have different sounds, different nucleus, different peaks. Okay, you have the first one with by, we have the second one, oh, by, oh, lin. And you can see that in the first one there is no coda, but there is an onset. That is why by, an open sound, by, long. Oh, by, oh, also, by, oh, and finally one with an onset and a coda, lin. And this n makes it a closed sound. Okay, now we can understand better how to separate these syllables, right? So why don't we just practice a little more? We have the words, the examples, sorry, table, playground, and elementary. Okay, table. Is it right? Ball. But how do I know that I have to put it there? Even though it's obvious that I have two syllables. Let's do this exercise. Consonant, vowel, consonant, vowel. So why I'm not putting this one? Because it makes only one sound. Ooh. And we're going to say it. The rule says that if we have vowel, consonant, vowel, we should make a separation there. So obviously we're not going to leave the two without a pick. So it's going to be consonant, vowel, separation, tay. As it's an open sound, we say it like tay. And then we have another open syllable, ball, table, with the onset here, table. There is no coda in these ones. Second one, playground. As you can see, we have consonants, vowel, consonants, consonants, vowel, consonants. Here, obviously, we have the two consonants form where it should be separated. Playground. With play having its onset, the big A, and the coda, and finally ground with its onset, its big O, and its coda. Playground is right. However, elementary, that is something more interesting. We have a vowel, le, consonant, and vowel. Men, consonant, vowel, consonant, ta, consonant, vowel, re, consonant, and even though this is a consonant, remember it can be a vowel sound. So let's do it. We have a, le, men, ta, re, right? So in the first one, L, it should we separate the with the L or without the L? Well, if we put the first syllable with the L, the second one is going to sound weird, you know? Elementary. That does not sound good. So we should leave the first one. Only a pick. We have the second one, le. As you can see, obviously, we have the consonant vowel form, and we have our second vowel, an open vowel, le, and we have a closed syllable here with the two consonants together form, and t. Obviously, the separation is there, le, men, with a closed sound here, le, men, ta, re. And obviously there is two sounds there, ta, re. So we should separate it. Each syllable with each peak. Elementary. As you can see, all the syllables have its own nucleus. Some of them have an onset, and some of them also have its coda. And you can verify this by saying it. Elementary. Now all together, elementary. And it sounds good, okay? So that is how you separate the syllables and identify the parts of these syllables. So I hope it helps you in your phonology class. I know this is something more than know, is something about practicing, you know? So you should try to practice this. Get more words, separate them, work on it, and watch videos. Also, the Google strategy for searching new words that you don't know, or maybe you don't know how to separate it, is going to help you. But remember, it's all in the pronunciation. If you can pronounce it, you can separate them. You just have to write it and work on it. So yeah, I think that is all. I hope this works for you. Thank you.